CDL Practice Test, Illinois. General Knowledge, Part 1. Question number 1. When must you wear a seatbelt? A. Whenever you're driving a CMV. B. Whenever you are hauling hazardous materials. C. Only in states where the law requires it. The correct answer is here. A. Whenever you're driving a CMV. Explanation. Federal regulations require the driver and all passengers in a moving CMV to wear seatbelts, unless, of course, the vehicle isn't equipped with M49 CFR 392.16. Question number 3. What does communicating mean in safe driving? A. Driving brightly colored vehicles. B. Using hand signals. C. Letting other drivers know you're there. The correct answer is here. C. Letting other drivers know you're there. Explanation. Other drivers may not always notice you even if you're driving a big vehicle in plain sight. Before passing another vehicle, communicate your presence by tapping your horn lightly or flashing your headlights. In bad weather in the daytime, turn on your headlights to make your vehicle more visible to other road users. Question number 4. How far into your trip should you make your first inspection of your cargo? A. At your first rest stop. B. Within 100 miles. C. Within 50 miles. D. Within 25 miles. The correct answer is here. C. Within 50 miles. Explanation. Finding out that your load was poorly secured can prevent a major disaster. You must inspect the securement of your cargo within the first 50 miles and then every 150 miles or every 3 hours, whichever comes first. Afterward, left square bracket. 2. 1. 6 inspection during trips. Section 2. Driving safely. Illinois Commercial Driver's License Study Guide. Question number 5. When driving through roadway work zones, you should A. Turn on your parking lights. B. Reduce speed only if workers are close to the roadway. C. Watch for sharp pavement drop-offs. The correct answer is here. C. Watch for sharp pavement drop-offs. Explanation. Dramatic pavement drop-offs are common in work zones, but they can also occur elsewhere. If you stray too near the edge of a drop-off, your vehicle may tilt toward that side of the road, and the top of your vehicle may hit a roadside object. If your vehicle crosses the drop-off, steering will be adversely affected. Question number 6. To prevent a load from shifting, there should be at least one tie down for every feet of cargo. A. 7. B. 10. C. 15. The correct answer is here. B. 10. Explanation. The rule is one tie down for every 10 feet of cargo but at least 2 tie downs regardless of how small the cargo is. Question number 7. The reaction distance is the distance traveled from the time A. the eyes see a hazard to the time the brain knows that it is a hazard. B. the brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. C. the eyes see a hazard to the time the foot pushes the brake pedal. The correct answer is here, B. The brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. Explanation. Total stopping distance is the sum of your perception distance, how far your vehicle goes from when you see the hazard until your brain processes it. Reaction distance, how far the vehicle goes from when your brain orders your foot to take action until your foot actually starts to brake. And braking distance, how far the vehicle continues to travel once you apply the brake. An average driver's perception time is about 1.3/4 seconds. His or her reaction time is between 3/4 second and 1 second. Open bracket. Note, 55 miles per hour is equal to about 81 feet per second. At this speed, a reaction time of 3/4 second is equivalent to a reaction distance of 61 feet. Question number 8. To safely adjust your speed to current driving conditions, what should you look for ahead? A. Road signs and traffic. B. Police and way stations. C. Traffic and road conditions. The correct answer is here, C. Traffic and road conditions. Explanation. Driving too fast is a major cause of fatal crashes. You must adjust your speed to current driving conditions such as visibility, traction, traffic, curves, upgrades, and downgrades. Question number 9. Signs of distracted drivers include A. Vehicles constantly traveling above the speed limit. B. Vehicles exiting the roadway. C. Drivers listening to overly loud music. D. Drivers having conversations with passengers. The correct answer is here, D. Drivers having conversations with passengers. Explanation. Watch for vehicles that may drift over the lane divider lines or within their own lane, vehicles traveling at inconsistent speeds, drivers who are preoccupied with maps, food, cigarettes, cell phones, or other objects, drivers who appear to be involved in conversations with their passengers. Question number 10. Why should you make sure to keep your vehicle in the middle of your lane? A. To leave the most space for a turn. B. To let other drivers get the best view of you. C. To avoid drop-offs. D. To keep other vehicles from passing you. The correct answer is here, C. To avoid drop-offs. Explanation. Many roads have drop-offs, sharp differences in elevation, at their edges. These can disrupt your steering or tilt your vehicle toward the side of the road so that it catches overhanging trees or wires. In fact, research has shown that a pavement drop-off of as little as 2 inches can cause loss of control when the driver attempts to return to the center of the lane. Leave a decent space from the edge of the road so you won't slip into a drop-off. Question number 11. You should have a minimum of tread on your steering tires. A. 2/32 inch. B. 1/4 inch. C. 4/32 inch. The correct answer is here, C. 4/32 inch. Explanation. Steering axle tires must have a tread depth of at least 4/32 inch. All other tires must have a tread depth of at least 2/32 inch. Question number 12. Tie downs must be of the proper type and strength. The combined strength of cargo tie downs must be strong enough to lift A. The weight of the cargo tied down. B. Twice the weight of the cargo tied down. C. 3 times the weight of the cargo tied down. D. 1.5 times the weight of the cargo tied down. The correct answer is here. D. 1.5 times the weight of the cargo tied down. Explanation. Tie downs must be of the proper type and proper strength. Federal regulations require the aggregate working load limit of any securement system used to secure an article or group of articles against movement must be at least 1.5 times the weight of the article or group of articles. Question number 13. Which of the following cannot be checked at the same time? A. Brake lights and red reflectors on rear. B. Headlights and amber reflectors. C. Brake lights, turn signals, and four-way flasher functions. The correct answer is here. C. Brake lights, turn signals, and four-way flasher functions. Explanation. In step 5, walk around inspection of the 7-step inspection method, you walk to the front of your vehicle to check that the turn signals and four-way flashers are working. Obviously you can't check all your brake lights from that vantage point. Question number 14. How regularly should you check your cargo? A. After every break. B. After every 4 hours or 200 miles, and after every break. C. After every 2 hours of driving. D. After every 3 hours or 150 miles you drive and after every break. The correct answer is here. D. After every 3 hours or 150 miles you drive and after every break. Explanation. To maintain the safety of yourself and other drivers, you should check your cargo every 3 hours or 150 miles. Whichever is less, you should also check your cargo after every break you take. Question number 15. To avoid a crash, you had to drive onto the right shoulder. You are now driving at 40 miles per hour on the shoulder. How should you move back onto the pavement? A. Brake hard to slow the vehicle, then steer sharply onto the pavement. B. Keep moving at the present speed and steer very gently back onto the pavement. C. Secured in a way that allows the driver to move freely and easily. D. Come to a complete stop, if possible, before continuing back onto the road. The correct answer is here. D. Come to a complete stop, if possible, before continuing back onto the road. Explanation. If you're forced to steer onto the shoulder to avoid a collision, try to come to a complete stop before you move back onto the road. Moving back onto the road at high speed could cause you to lose control. Question number 16. When you are passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, you should assume that they A. will move out of your lane of traffic. B. C. may move into your traffic lane. The correct answer is here. C. may move into your traffic lane. Explanation. When passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, assume that they have not seen you and might move into your way. Communicate your presence to them and proceed with caution. Question number 18. Implied consent means that when you operate a CMV on public roads, you A. consent to have your vehicle inspected for alcohol. B. consent to be tested for alcohol in your blood. C. understand that you may now drink alcohol before driving. The correct answers here. B. Consent to be tested for alcohol in your blood. Explanation. When you operate a CMV on public roads, you imply consent to be tested for blood alcohol concentration. Back. Upon the request of law enforcement, if you are convicted of refusing to be tested, you will lose your CDL for at least 1 year if this was your first offense. 49 CFR 391.15. Question number 19. If you feel drowsy while driving, what should you do? A. Open the windows for some fresh air. B. Drink a cup of coffee. C. Drink energy drinks. D. Pull off the road and get some sleep. The correct answers here. D. Pull off the road and get some sleep. Explanation. If you are drowsy, the only safe cure is to get off the road and get some sleep. If you don't, you risk your life and the lives of others. Question number 21. What is the main purpose of header boards? A. To protect cargo from weather and to protect people from cargo spills. B. To keep hazardous materials separate during transport. C. To stop cargo from falling off the back of a trailer when braking sharply. D. To protect the driver from moving cargo. The correct answers here. D. To protect the driver from moving cargo. Explanation. Header boards are designed to stop moving cargo from hitting the driver in the event of a quick stop or collision. Cargo covers are responsible for protecting cargo from weather and protecting people from cargo spills. Question number 22. What things should you check during a trip? A. Check your maps and directions in the weather report. B. Check load stability by slightly swerving left to right in your lane. C. Watch gauges and mirrors and use your senses to check for problems. Look, listen, and smell. The correct answers here. C. Watch gauges and mirrors and use your senses to check for problems. Look, listen, and smell. Explanation. During your trip, you should be watching a number of things, such as your mirrors, gauges, instruments, lights, tires, and cargo. Use several of your senses, sight, hearing, smell, and feel, to detect possible trouble. Question number 23. If you are driving a long distance, you should A. Take a short break once or twice during the trip when you are feeling tired or drowsy. B. Avoid short breaks but keep the window open. C. Stop often and take short breaks before you feel really drowsy or tired. The correct answers here. C. Stop often and take short breaks before you feel really drowsy or tired. Explanation. To maintain your alertness during a long drive, especially at night, plan to take frequent rest breaks, about every 2 hours or 100 miles. Question number 24. Which of these is not something you should do if your headlights are not working properly? A. Clean the headlights. B. Adjust the headlights. C. Leave your high beams on. The correct answers here. C. Leave your high beams on. Explanation. To avoid blinding other drivers, dim your headlights whenever you're within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle or within 500 feet of a vehicle you are following. Question number 25. High beams should be A. Dimmed whenever you get within 100 feet of another vehicle. B. Turned on when an oncoming driver does not dim his or her lights. C. Used when it is safe and legal to do so. The correct answer is here. C. Used when it is safe and legal to do so. Explanation. High beams will help you see farther ahead at night, making you a safer driver. However, to prevent blinding other drivers, dim your headlights whenever you are within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle or within 500 feet of a vehicle you are following.